All right, hi, hello. We just did a Clearing with Kate energy exchange where we found that the energy of criticism was the energy that we would most benefit from having cleared today. And the energy we wanted to call in its place was kindness. I mean, wholly logical, right? Like, what is the opposite of kind energy? Is that critical energy. And okay, because I always feel like I have to play both sides. Yes, sometimes it's good to be critical. Sometimes it's good to critique a thing and say, is this in my highest good? Is it not in my highest good? And you have to take a critical mind when you're evaluating the benefit of something. That's called discernment, right? But for whatever reason today, the reason this is coming up to be cleared, not to be called in, right? We didn't call in the energy of criticism and discernment. The spirit, the charts, collective consciousness is saying, no, we've gone a little too far into that criticism. We've gone a little too far into the energy of critique. And so that's not benefiting us for whatever reason. Again, I think that the key here is that replacement energy was kindness. For whatever reason, this overabundance of criticism, this overabundance of that critical mindset is actually preventing kindness from coming in. And I know for me, just even as we talk about criticism, I feel my body tense up. I feel myself getting kind of smaller and tighter and feeling like, oh, what do I need to protect myself from? For me, criticism is an energy you like protect yourself from. And then when I think about kindness, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I can soften into kindness. I can soften into that. And then maybe once we have that kindness on board and locked in, then we get to apply some critical thinking. We get to apply some, that reflective, discernment energy, but not until we have the basis of kindness first to build that on. It's like when somebody in your life who is loving and kind to you offers you a criticism, it lands so much better than when someone who has been inherently unkind to you criticizes you or offers you critical feedback. It's real hard to accept that. It's really hard to accept criticism from somebody who has been unkind to you. So that's sort of what we're diving into today. Sorry if that was a really long explanation. Wow, my charts are all the way over there. Luckily, I have my small chart book. I was using my big chart to look at that energy of criticism because I have, in my larger book, I have way more negative energies to look at. And I just kind of wanted to broaden our horizons today as far as which energies might need cleared. So that's what we did, but now we have our small charts. So we're gonna dive in and we're gonna say, what is the root of this criticism? Is there something going on at the root that we really need to look at that will help us step out of that energy and really lean into our kindness? And so chart 31 is coming up. It's called Memory Clearing. One of these days, I'm really gonna get really good at flipping through this book faster. So this is our role as creator and our relationship to the divine. So divine plan is what is coming up. What percent are we blocked to the divine plan? 0%. What percent are we open to the divine plan? 0%. So blocks are these external factors that are getting in the way of us accessing something. So this is saying we don't have any external blocks to accessing the divine plan, but we're not open to accessing the divine plan. And immediately what my mind thinks of is like when you have access to the divine plan, you don't even worry about critical energy. You don't even have to worry about your discernment because you're going to be operating so wholly in faith in that divine plan that you will not need to wonder when someone's criticism of you is coming from kindness or from something else. You're not going to even wonder when your own criticism of yourself and your actions, which again can be healthy, is coming from a place of kindness and accountability and positive growth forward, and when it's coming from a space of outdated beliefs or something else that is less than healthy. So when we have faith in the divine plan, we have openness to the divine plan, there is no need to wonder about the root of the criticism and if that criticism is healthy and positive or negative and toxic. So we're just going to say, what do we need to do to open ourselves up to the divine plan? What do we need to do to open ourselves up to the divine plan? 8B is coming up, which is called Other Archetypes. And there's also some positive potential and some negative potential on here. The negative potential is self-destruction. So our lack of openness to the divine plan is coming from a place of self-destruction. This comes up all the time. If you watch my clearing videos at all, you'll kind of start to see themes in the human psyche. And these themes will become less and less shocking the more you participate in spiritual response technique, the more you participate actually in any kind of subconscious work. When you start diving into the subconscious, and that could be archetypes, that could be belief systems, that could be, you know, the traumas and the patterns that you're operating inside of. That could be, you know, cultural or collective influence. That could be the influence of this stuff in the outside world. When you start paying attention to the subconscious, you start to see patterns. You start to see, oh yeah, self-destruction, that is a big motivator for a lot of humans. Oh yeah, self-limitation, self-punishment, that's a motivator for a lot of humans. And you just start to see like there's predictability here because we're sharing in this subconscious, right? We're sharing in this collective awareness that I call it awareness, although most of the time we're unaware of it because it's operating below the surface. And so we're just asking for anything that is causing us to feel like we want to self-destruct to be cleared now. And I'm seeing again this tie to kindness being the replacement energy we were supposed to call in today, because it's like, if you are truly operating from a space of kindness, you will not want to self-destruct. Like, why would you want to self-destruct if you were being kind to yourself? Why would that be something you would be inspired to do if you were being kind to yourself, or if you were accepting the kindness of others? Because I'm sure that's part of what's going to come up here is we're blocked to other people also being kind to us. So that's just something to think about there. And we're saying, Spirit, clear it. Is there anything else? I'm going to ask a yes or no question. So yes is like when my pendulum goes up and down. No is when it goes side to side. So is there anything else here, Spirit, that I need to look at when it comes to the root of this criticism? No. So we really just found the root. Not believing in the divine plan and self-destruction. Self-destruction is like, oh, there's a divine plan, but I don't really want to follow it. And so now I'm going to live in criticism instead of kindness because I don't really want to follow the divine plan. There's lots of reasons why we don't want to follow the divine plan. But for today, one of those reasons is because we would rather self-destruct. We would rather self-destruct than follow the divine plan. And maybe the root of that is our desire to have control, our desire to have things go our way, even if our way isn't actually better. We would rather go our way and have control and have authority than to allow something or someone else, certainly the unseen like the divine, guide us and be the guiding factor in our life. Cool. So now that we found the root, and hopefully we've destroyed the root just by saying, ugh, clear it, gross, we're going to look at our blocks to kindness, our blocks to kindness for ourselves, and our blocks to receiving kindness from others. The first thing that just came up was chart 18, which is called higher level blocks. These are higher level blocks. Again, this is called spiritual response technique. These very specific charts that I'm using and the modality that I'm doing, spiritual response technique. Look it up, Google it. It's pretty rad. So programs in the subconscious mind of one. So the programming that is in the subconscious mind of all of us says, self-destruct. Don't accept kindness. Don't be kind to yourself. Don't be kind to others. There's just some programming there, and we don't know where that programming came from. We don't know why it's there, but we're just erasing it from all of our collective record right now. So we're releasing the collective from this record of lack of kindness, lack of openness to kindness, blocks to kindness, and again, that self-destruction, self-limitation piece. So I should ask, I guess, it's fun, and spiritual response technique and in dowsing in general, you get to ask numbers. In SRT, we operate in a lot of percentages since nothing is like all good, all bad. You can have something be 100% good for you and 100% bad for you. That sucks. That's duality. It makes it really hard to make decisions sometimes when that's the case. But in this particular case, we're going to use percentages to ask what percent are we open to our kindness and to have kindness given to us 100%. And then what percent are we blocked to kindness and having kindness given to us also 100%. So we're open to, we want it in our heart, we want it. Our heart chakra is yearning for kindness. Our heart chakra is desiring kindness, the giving and the receiving. But there is an external block there. There is something saying, no, you can't have this, you shouldn't have this. And we're going to find out what that block is. So what is blocking us to receiving and giving kindness? We're going to go back to chart 8B. This came up earlier. This is the negative potential, the positive potential. There's some archetypes on here. Self-forgiveness. So self-forgiveness is blocking it. And this is when we just stop for a second because I get rolling and I feel my energy getting excited. But really the best thing for all of us right now is to just take a second And if you can say this out loud with me, if you're in a place where you can express these words out loud, that would be of greatest benefit. But if not, if you could just psychically say them silently in your mind and in your heart. I forgive myself. I forgive myself for any mistake that I have been hanging on to. I forgive myself for believing that I am not worthy of kindness and creating a life for myself that blocked myself to kindness. I forgive myself for accepting less than what I want, need, and deserve. I forgive myself for every time I blocked kindness from coming into my life. And I forgive myself for every time I've been unkind to other people. Let a breath out. And this is just the reprogramming that can happen with spiritual response technique. If you want it, great, say those words with me, feel that in your heart. And if you don't want it, you don't have to, but I would ask you, why do you not want that? Why do you not want to let go of something that you've been beating yourself up for? Why do you not want to let go of something that has blocked you to being kind to yourself and kind to others? Why do you want to hang on to self-hate? And I'm giving you some silence there so you can actually think about it. Why do you want to hang on to self-hate? Why do you not want to or don't feel like you deserve forgiveness? And would you apply that same principle to others? Maybe you're actually really hard on other people too, and you just have a really high standard for yourself and others. If that's the case, it goes back to, this energy of criticism. Are you being overly critical? Are you being too hard on yourself and on others? And if so, why? As we go into, we just left a new moon, and as we go into solstice today, this is a great opportunity for intention setting. This is the beautiful part of the next 2 weeks. As we head into the new year, is solidifying the intention you want to have for yourself, solidify who you want to be in this next year. And my question to you would be, is it your intention to continue to be overly critical of yourself and other people? Is it your intention to continue to dog yourself and beat yourself up over something, potentially something that happened forever ago? And I relate to this because, I've done a lot of self-forgiveness work in the last 3 years. I had a very kind of earth-shattering experience a few years ago, and it broke down everything that I thought I knew about who I was, my purpose in the world, how I thought I was supposed to interact with other people. And in that process, what came up for me was that I was holding on to a lot of self-hate over things that I had done as far back as my childhood. Like, I was still hanging on to self-hate from childhood. And releasing that has been a weird thing because it has made me think about my own worth and what I deserve. And especially if you've grown up in the church, you may believe that what you deserve is to not be forgiven. You may think that what you deserve is to have people be unkind to you or for you to be unkind to yourself. You might just inherently think that that's it. Like, that's what you should have. That's what you should get. And again, as we head into this new year, it's the perfect time to just slow down. The days are short on purpose. We're not supposed to be out at 8, 9 o'clock at night in the daylight with our friends, hanging out, being distracted. Right now, seasonally, things close down, they quiet down early. You might feel this draw to be in bed by 7 p.m. And you might think, gosh, that's too early, I can't do that. Well, what if you actually did go to bed at 7, but instead of going straight to sleep, you do a little bit of self-reflection and you say, why am I so self-critical? Why am I so critical of others? And is this who I truly want to be moving into 2026? And if not, let me write down my intention of what I will be instead. Instead of critical, I will be kind. Instead of self-critical, I will be self-loving, self-forgiving, self-understanding, self-compassionate. So now is the time for deep introspection. Now is the time when the stuff is coming up in the chart, not necessarily to just say, oh, let's take the easy route, spirit, clear it. Instead, what if this stuff is coming up just for you to observe it? To observe your tendencies, to observe your self-hate, to observe your self-criticism, to observe your operating patterns, to observe your habits, not from a place of criticism, but just from curiosity, right? It's like when we have a conflict with someone, if we don't go into it with criticism, but we go in with curiosity, we almost always have better results. And that doesn't mean then that you don't have all the information you need to be able to make a good choice afterwards. Maybe that process of breaking things down and getting quiet and monitoring yourself and observing yourself actually just feeds you the information you need to be able to go out and make better choices for yourself. Like that's part of the point. So yeah, think on that. Okay, so now what percent are we blocked to kindness? Well, we're still 100% blocked, y'all. This is deep. I can feel that this is deep. That's why I feel like I'm kind of being a little bit more serious about this today. This is not just fun and games. This is a really big deal. And I think especially because this is coming up on the solstice, it's like this means something. Self-esteem. What percent are we blocked to our self-esteem? 100%. So what do we got to do to unblock ourselves to our self-esteem? Because clearly that is why we are still blocked to kindness. Our self-esteem is not great. And we keep getting the same chart over and over again. So what's going to help us get unblocked to our self-esteem? Releasing ourselves from guilt. Whew. Okay, again, say with me right now, I release myself from all the guilt that I've been carrying. I release myself from memories of guilt, from thoughts of guilt, from stories of guilt, from the guilt ancestry, from the guilt that was passed down through all the generations of my family. I release myself from religious guilt. I release myself from the guilt of my childhood. I release myself from the guilt that I've been carrying as it relates to every little bad thing I think I've ever done in my life, real or imagined. And again, here's a moment of pause and reflection. What are you afraid of is going to happen when you stop feeling guilty for what you've done? What's the first thing that just popped up into your mind? What are you afraid is going to happen when you let go of the guilt? Are you afraid you're going to keep being a bad person? Are you afraid you're going to be a good person? Are you afraid that good things will come your way? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? So now what percent are we blocked to releasing, or what percent are we blocked to our self-esteem now? 0%. Now what percent are we open to kindness? 100% open. And again, what percent are we blocked to our kindness? Now we're just getting 50%. I love this pendulum so much. It's like so... I don't know if you can see it. It's just, I don't know. You can't really tell, but it's like creamy, dreamy. Ugh, it's like opaque, but translucent, but all the good flavors. Okay, so we're at 50% now. So we're going to look at the other 50%. So what's the other 50% block to kindness? We're going to just look at it, pick it apart, send the message, be the neutral conduit for spirit, for source, for the collective. Our physical DNA is coded with it. That's what this just said. Your physical DNA is coded with this block to kindness. It's so interesting when you think about that. And if you literally like try to envision your DNA, right? Like this double helix structure, and it's coated. It's literally coated in guilt. So find a color, right? Find a color that for you represents guilt. So for me right now, I don't know why, but that's like a deep navy blue. Maybe it's actually transmuting into something gross. Like I'm actually seeing it now transform into like this like pukey green color. And really start thinking about what it would be like to actively shed that coating that is on your DNA. It doesn't matter why that coding is there. It could be from past lives. It could be from our family. It could be whatever. But if you really think about energy and how powerful energy is, like energy is real. Of course, energy could be accumulating on top of our DNA, which is why maybe you're finding it so hard to let this guilt go, because it's literally being coded onto your DNA. And so we're just asking for that to be cleared. Now, washing it in just beautiful, beautiful waves of pink energy, sparkling energy, light energy, peaceful energy, love energy, right? Maybe that's purple, maybe it's pinks and reds, maybe it's the ombre of a sunset. That's the color that we're just washing all of our DNA with. And maybe that seems weird, but I think that it works. You know, I really think that it works. And I know for myself, visualizations are extremely powerful. So now what percent are we blocked to kindness? 0%. So that just opened us up totally to kindness. So now we're 100% open to kindness. We're 0% blocked to kindness. And we're just saying, great, thank you, I appreciate it. And now how am I going to move forward today? Now that I'm open to my kindness, how can I actively invest in being kind to myself and others? This is not just like well, now I'm going to walk away and hope that this works. No, I'm going to intentionally create a new life for myself. Now that I know that I am able to let go of my guilt, able to let go of my self-hate, my self-destruction, my self-limitation, now that I know I'm fully open to my self-esteem, to friendliness, to kindness, how now do I want to operate in this world? You know, and that's been a really important part of dowsing work for me and of spiritual work is like, yes, I'm clearing it and I'm using Reiki and I'm using my psychic powers and I'm using energy and I'm using all of these amazing factors, but then I'm also calling myself to task as far as my actions go. I can't just do the woo-woo stuff, right? I can't just say, spirit, clear it. I can't just say, I'm psychically reprogramming this or that. No. I'm doing all those things, and then I'm taking accountability by aligning my actions with that spiritual healing, aligning my actions with that work, aligning my actions with the intention that we've just cleansed and cleared our DNA. Like if I've cleansed and cleared my DNA, now I must act as if I am someone whose DNA has been cleansed and cleared. I don't get to say, oh, I cleansed and cleared my DNA, but I'm going to still act in the same way I was acting before. No, it is a call to action. SRT is a call to action. Spiritual work is a call to action. It's not just about accepting and receiving the healing in a state of, just receptivity, just, I want to say like offensively, like with offense, you sort of also have to it's this offense defense engagement. It's this it's a push pull. It's just being actively engaged in your own healing. So now we're going to say we're doing 100% of 100% of mop up. This is a long video today, everybody. And then what is our replacement energy? Our replacement energy is desire. To desire good for ourselves, to desire better for ourselves, to desire kindness for ourselves. Kindness just came back up again. Forgiveness, I'm seeing strength, forgiveness, strength, kindness, all sorts of good juicy energy that we are going to be able to carry forward with us today. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching another episode of Clearing with Kate. If you have any questions or any curiosities about spiritual response technique, look me up, www.thepointedstone.com. You can book one-to-one sessions. We can have conversation. I can record clearings for you and send them in video format or voice note format, whatever would feel good to you. Again, if you have a block, if you have an outdated belief system, if you have something that is just getting in the way of you living a life you want to live, connect with me, because I really do feel like this work has been so helpful in my life, and I know it can be helpful in your life as well. Okay, well, happy solstice, happy Yule, and we will see you all on another episode of Clearing with Kate.